Hello, thanks for stopping by my channel. My name is Denise and this is the Canadian Colorist Art. Today is Canada Day, so July 1st, 2023. And I wanted to, I'm a little late in getting this video out. I should have done this sooner. I film really close to my refrigerator and I was waiting for it to stop humming. I noticed in my last video where I featured the Art of War coloring book that I could hear my refrigerator in the background. So now that it's stopped and I think we have a little bit more silence, I want to show you some special coloring books today. I always say that. All of my coloring books seem special to me. But in light of Canada Day, I want to say hello to all my fellow Canadian colorists. And I know as the US, they're going to be celebrating their National Day in just a few days, right? July 4th. And in addition to showing you these coloring books, I have a set of vintage art supplies that I'm going to show you. And I deliberately hid what they look like. I'm just going to put them aside for now. So I hope that that intrigues you to stay and see what those vintage art supplies are. Okay, first things first. Excuse me for clearing my throat. I saw a lot of my fellow YouTubers featuring this coloring book. It's called the Color Art Books.
Playing from desktop B3R96 MF.
Yeah. Okay, so that was Alexa. Not sure if you heard that, but anyway. The Color Art Books, color by number, and this is the Canada version. And this is by A.J. Quinnell. And there's a whole bunch of books by A.J. Quinnell and different themes. So I love that this one is about Canada, and it's a beautiful color by number book. It's not that thick. Not really doing a flip through. I wanted to show you my completed pages just to show you what I've got done in this book so far. I did the first one, which is of course the cover page, and I used my Gansai Tambi watercolors and it worked really well. The next page I did was this one, also with the Gansai Tambi watercolor set. And I really like that A.J. Quinnell has created these images of Canada and that there's like maple leaves, which is, you know, if you're not familiar with Canada, if you're from a different country, you know, the maple leaf is the big standout image on our Canadian flag. And I think I did do this page as well. This is with a different set of watercolor markers. And I did a little bit of sparkly, what was it? A glitter gel pen on the maple leaf. Okay, so this is a lot of fun. This book, I love it. I'm going to get more of these color by number. They're fabulous. A fabulous book. So I thank my fellow colorists who have YouTube channels that have, you know, flipped through or, you know, featured this book, because that definitely inspired me to get this. All right, I'm just going to put this aside. The next book I want to show you is the National Parks of Canada. And I've seen other books, like the US has quite a few of their national parks in coloring books, and they look fabulous. So when I saw that Canada has one too, I thought, fantastic, I'm going to show this. I'm not doing a complete flip through. I'm just going to show you my plans for this book. If you do want a complete flip through of this coloring book, please let me know. And I'd be happy to do that. This is like a smaller size. Sorry, I'm just going to grab this just to compare. So it's just a little bit of a smaller size coloring book as compared to this size that you might be familiar with. But just quickly, it's got a really solid back cover on this book. The front page is soft, and it has a unique binding. Okay, I'm just going to flip it over. See how when you open it up, and it's not that it came unglued, because there's no glue. It's just, I think it's meant to be like that. And then when you open up a page, it lies flat. So I think there's a threading in this book. So if you're interested in this book, just know that the pages are quite nice, not real thick, but really beautiful. Okay. This, I love the cover. Now, for those that are familiar with the national parks in Alberta, the front cover features Jasper National Park. But this image specifically is Spirit Island, and it's an absolutely iconic image. It seems to me one of the big companies, I want to say Microsoft, bought the rights to the image, and it was one of the wallpapers that they used on the computer screen. I could be wrong about that, not 100%, but it seems to me that that is something whereby, like, this image of Spirit Island, I'm going to say, is really out there in the world. I live in northeast Alberta, so this park in particular, this Jasper National Park, is just to the west of me in the Rocky Mountains. Like if I was to drive there, it would take me like a morning to get there. Like it's about 400 kilometers from where I live. And I just want to show you, my son and I love to hike in this in the Jasper National Park. And this is my photograph of Spirit Island. Okay, so that is an actual photograph that I took. And then this is my son. He's looking at Spirit Island over here. So this is really special. And the other thing is, Spirit Island isn't actually an island. It is actually connected to the mainland. But this is a very unique place. It is actually surrounded by a mountain range, which is not usual in a lakeside setting. You usually have two different mountain ranges, but this one, the mountain range curves around, which is why they call it Spirit Island. And also, to the Indigenous peoples, this was a place of like healing and their spiritual ceremonies. You can only visit this place by taking a boat, and it's usually at like the tourist boats. My son and I were here when it was like during really strict lockdown conditions because of COVID, and it was a great time to go and visit there because there weren't that many people. So as you can see here, he's standing here by himself, but this would be loaded with people. So we had a great time that day. And you can't go onto this little island. You can only stay behind in the fenced area, and that's to protect this area and preserve what a beautiful and very special place that is in Canada's Jasper National Park. So let me put that aside. So my plan today, and I forgot, I'm sorry, this book is I don't know if they're the author, the illustrators, but it's by Paul Cavello and Lior Boshi, just in case that's important for you in locating this book. So again, I'm not giving a full flip through of it. These are all of the national parks across Canada, and it's from coast to coast to coast. I should have marked this down. So I didn't complete this page, but of course, in keeping with Spirit Island, and because my son and I love to go hiking there, And this is the cover. So I didn't finish. This is what I'm going to work on today. And yeah, that's going to be my fun project. Now, I hope you're still with me. I want to show you what I call vintage, a vintage art supply. And for any of my American viewers, this might be of interest to you as well. But off the top, my Canadian colorists, you're gonna know about this easily. Back when I was in school, when the art supply list came out, well, actually the school supply list came out, and I was always excited about that. Didn't matter, right from elementary school to high school, there was always, crayons or colored pencils listed on the school supply list. And if you remember this, the colored pencils that we always got, because I think they were the only ones, were these Laurentian. Now, I didn't think too much of this until I found out that they stopped making these in 2011. I didn't know. So I went looking to buy a set of these for nostalgic purposes. And I could only find them on Etsy. And there was, I'm sorry, I should have wrote down so that I would remember the Etsy shop. But this was a lady in Montreal. She had that you could buy these. So when I got it, there was just a set of 12, but Laurentian came in more, in bigger sets. And even back when I was a kid, I had, full set syndrome already back then. So I probably had the set of, I think they came up to about 24 in a pack. I don't have the original case, but these were brand new. I could tell because the tips were squared off. And they were all, in perfect lengths like this. I paid $32 for this. This is crazy, but I had to have them. I mean, back when I was a kid, probably, my mom probably paid $3 to $4 or so for a set. And what was really neat about it, and again, these were the only colored pencils really that were available. They were a good, student grade pencil. And this white band right here, you could take a pen and write your name on each and every, pencil if you wanted to. Now, another Canadian thing that's interesting to know is, so when we also always had a set of wax crayons, and I believe they were always Crayola. So Canadians tend to call, these, your wax crayons, and then these were your pencil crayons. So if you ever hear Canadians say that in reference to colored pencils, yeah, sometimes we can't help ourselves. We'll say pencil crayons. So it was wax crayons, pencil crayons. And that was just a typical, I don't know, I guess the way Canadians talk. So if you are a fellow Canadian colorist and you remember these, let me know. Tell me in the comment section. And because they stopped making these in 2011, well, I consider these vintage. I swatched these because I couldn't quite remember the feel of them. They're actually quite a hard lead. So to get a solid color, you did have to press hard. But these were the colors in this set. Like I say, there were more. So in this set, I got the deep yellow, orange, poppy red, cerise, peacock blue, purple, navy blue, black, emerald green, deep green, brown, and chestnut brown. And Yeah, I wish I could have the whole set. Poppy red was never my favorite. When I was back in school, it wasn't a bright red. It was sort of an orangey red. But if you had the bigger set of these Laurentian colored pencils, there was a cherry red. And I think that's what it was called, cherry red. If I'm wrong about that, please let me know. I'd like to hear your thoughts. So I don't plan, other than swatching this set, I don't plan on using them. I'm going to put them away as a souvenir and for nostalgic purposes. Now, the reason why I say if you're an American watching this video, you might be wondering, well, what's the connection, to you? These pencils were made by a company in Canada called, I think they were called the Venus Company. And then there was the US had eventually an affiliate company sort of tied to that Venus, manufacturing company. So your colored pencils were, I think, called Paradise. If I'm correct, would you let me know? Would you let us all know in the comments if you're an American viewer seeing this? Of course, Laurentian might not mean anything to you, but Paradise might. Let us know. And for all of the other viewers out there in a different country, what was on your school supply list? Were there crayons? What did you use in school? Colored pencils, and what brand were they? I'm just curious. I think that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching and letting me share a piece of Canadian history, which actually could be sort of tied to American history too, in case your Paradise pencils might be considered vintage as well. And yes, that's all I have for you today. So I'm going to go back to working on my page for Jasper National Park. And take care. Happy Canada Day. See you in the next one. Bye.